Hi. Today I thought of sharing with you something very amusing which I discovered while reflecting upon over 6 decades of my life journey. Well, in this journey, there was one milestone which I found was constantly reappearing in very frequent intervals throughout, even as of today. And that constant milestone was the report card. Well, in my kindergarten days, I hardly knew what a report card would mean. Till such time, my parents used to take me out on a trip to the zoo or in a circus, and I would imagine it's that piece of paper which did that magic. Soon after, when I proceeded to senior classes, I really started getting to understand the relevance of report cards. And I also discovered there was even more interesting thing which need to be learned, and that is the relevance of the blue ink and the red ink of a report card. I'm sure some of you would be recalling those days. And that report card could actually be the cause of misery or sorrows in many, many families. Life progressed, and I came to the senior schools when I realized a completely different importance of the report card. And that is, it is that same report card which will become my visa to entering into premier institutions for higher studies. I have no qualms to honestly admit that there were a couple of them which I really cherished to join, but missed by a whisker on the basis of the same report card. But I was more than fortunate enough to get into my chartered accountancy and come out by flying colors again on the basis of the same report card. And that gave me a visa to the corporate world, which I have traveled such long periods of time. In the corporate world, over a period of time, I realized there's a different kind of report card that hold relevance. And that report card is called the appraisals. Only difference, it is the blue ink and red ink has disappeared. And what became important was the number of digits in the outcome of that appraisal. Well, that report card became so critical in my life throughout, even as of today. And as I progressed further and became a little bit more senior, I was supposed to present the report card of the business in front of the senior management team. From smaller departmental meeting rooms, those presentations went into larger meeting rooms, into the boardrooms, and further graduated in the desks of the shareholders, stakeholders, and the investors, as well as the analysts. This report card of the business, which became the cornerstone of measurement of success for all businesses, was the balance sheet. I soon realized as a finance guy that everything in business centered around the balance sheet, because balance sheet holds the key to the health and especially the financial health of the organization. Let me give you an analogy. Suppose you are making fabulous salary incomes or other incomes, but spending that income into a lavish lifestyle of house, property, investments, even overseas visits, and a very expensive lifestyle. And in the process, some of you may be ending up taking loans. Yes, I did too. But then I realized if I do not service those loans which I'm taking in my personal name, very soon it will impact my CIBIL scores in my bank account, and my credibility and my ability to take more loans in future will gradually diminish. In much the same way happens to the corporate world as well. The balance sheet becomes such a critical report card on the basis of which the CIBIL scores of the corporations The loan taking ability, the financing ability, everything gets dependent on that. But what I mysteriously found out, that despite being such a critical document and a critical report card, many a times it is given a very lesser emphasis and focus, and a disproportionate attention goes to the profit and loss account. Well, no arguments. The business is run end of the day for making money, and that is the profitability. Absolutely given. But what happens if even after making fabulous profits, as reported in the profit and loss account, that the financial health deteriorates because of a weaker balance sheet? The scaling up of the business will not happen. And more so, the whole universe is talking about valuations these days, for which even the stock markets get impacted and is sensitive about these kind of valuations. Now, what happens to the valuations? The basis is always on the basis of the balance sheet. And that is the reason the balance sheet becomes such a critical report. The report card relevance does not stop over here. Come to the other side of life. When I started aging and I started visiting the doctors, there was one more report card which soon became a very critical piece of document, and that was the report card of my health. Soon after, when I started aging out, I started doing my annual health checkups, and it is the health report card that becomes the basis for doctors and medical practitioners to be diagnosing and treating any kind of illness in human body. So therefore, the report card for a good health becomes so important. And in much the same way, the report card of a business for good health of the business becomes so very critical in business. Just imagine the journey of report card and map it to the journey of life. I can bet this you will be reflecting and recollecting upon throughout your life. Wasn't that very amusing? If you really enjoyed and liked the video, please like and comment upon it so that we can have a community of shared learnings and knowledge and make this a beautiful and enriching world. Thank you for listening to me.